Lore Friendly 101.
Woo!
We are at our second century, I guess.
Yep, we are entering the second era.
It's like Vault 101. There's all kinds of ties to video games that we play. How are you? How was your week in Brighton?
Whew, mate.
Do you remember any of it?
There is actually a very big blank spot in my memory. What I can remember is that I was partying for 16 hours straight.
No doubt celebrating with everyone our 100th episode.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Talk of the town, I'm sure, in Brighton
sure.
all the way up to Ireland.
Also, pride. But,
Oh, that's right. Our pride is on a different...
You have a different Pride Month, don't you?
Yes. It's all the time zone stuff. That's what it is. We also have different time zones for months as well. It's like we're in August here. You're probably in September over there. It's just how it works.
Oh, God, no. If I was in September now, I'd be having to move out right now.
You could be in 2021. We're in 2019. That's how time zones are. It's all nobody
relative.
can make sense of it.
It's all
Yes,
relative.
it's relative. Einstein discovered that, the theory of relativity. In any case, we got some things to talk about. I want to first share.
You have got this burning in your throat, I can tell by your tone of voice.
So, on the Hot Files right now, burning up the endorsement charts is what I consider the quintessential, or one of the quintessential Nexus mods. So maybe I'm saying this because my mods have never been Hot Files, none of my mods ever.
Your mods age like a fine wine.
Yes, and I am completely bitter about it. No, I don't care. But without further ado, let me introduce you to one of the cringiest mods I've ever seen and Hot File of the week, the humiliation of Wonder Woman.
I can't see it because I've forgotten my login for Nexus.
Oh, okay.
You're going to have to send me screenshots, Chris.
Okay, so first of all, this is a Wonder Woman mod, Wonder Woman mod. That's fine, right? We're fine. Ignore the title for a second. Now, she has humongous breasts that are bigger than...
Of course.
Our entire bodies. It's basically like two fatbergs sitting on our chest. But hey, we're not going to kink shame. That's all completely fine. But then we start to delve into the dialogue options. And me, I'm a big dialogue guy, right? So this is kind of like my bread and butter. But with this mod, some of the options are a little suspect. Like we have Wonder Woman, sexy dance.
Oh, jiggle physics.
Wonder Woman, crawl on all fours, which she does. It's very technically impressive if we choose to ignore everything else about it.
Excellent animation.
And last but not least, Wonder Woman, it's sweet that you should take off your clothes.
Oh.
I assume the word sweet is thrown in there for romance.
Oh.
But yeah, so this mod is a thing. It basically takes Wonder Woman, a strong independent woman, and turns her into your personal sex slave. Not at all humiliating unless you consider the title actually says the humiliation of Wonder Woman right in the name. So, yeah, Hot Files.
I'm really upset. What?
Yeah. The dialogue is such that it makes me glad that I can't read the Korean options.
Because God only knows what it could be. How could it be any worse? Of course it can be worse. What am I saying?
Oh, it gets worse. If you go to the end of the video, you'll see.
I don't want to give that video any more of my time.
But yeah, this was released just yesterday, and it's already on the Hot Files. So if there's anything that I think needs curation, it's the Nexus Hot Files. It's just, it needs work.
Like, come on, guys. Don't submit us to this awful shit. Just, oh god damn. I hate gaming culture sometimes.
This has not been a good few weeks for gaming culture.
No. What with games being blamed for every single evil on the earth. Things like that. But we're not going to get into that because that's a whole kettle of fish. And we don't want to open up episode 101 with a ton of depression.
No.
So, there has been a drought of gaming news recently. Because everything came out at E3 and now they ain't shit. Because we're in the dry spell. We're in the starting to release things. We're gearing up to release new games kind of time of the year. But, there has been some wonderful Twitch controversies. Now, Twitch, for the one person who isn't aware, is a live streaming service. Many people have Twitch channels. Do you have a Twitch channel, Chris?
I do, but I've never uploaded a video. I have a login name, basically, is what I have.
But yes, so Twitch is one of the most popular platforms for gaming content, and despite it being one of the most popular platforms for gaming content, it has its fair share of controversies, because at the end of the day, if something is happening live, shit's gonna happen. Like, if we recorded this podcast live, we would inevitably say something that would get us in trouble. Like, there is a reason why half the time I say, oh, delete this. And the public will never know. Chris, you've got so much dirt on me.
Do I? Yeah, actually, I probably save every snippet that you said to delete, and I just like put it together in one long MP3.
You're going to leak it to the Russians when I start my election campaign to be Prime Minister.
It's basically in something conspicuously labeled Alice's blackmail folder. Yeah.
You know, nice and easy to find, you know?
Yeah.
But the latest controversy to come out is that there's a Twitch streamer who is a mother called Heathered Effect, and she's not gaming streamer exactly. She plays games, but she's more into like ASMR, things like that, blah blah blah. And she breastfed on stream, and this caused a whole fucking controversy because basically Twitch deleted the clips of her breastfeeding, which thereby suggests that the breastfeeding was a sexual act, whether it's something that's acceptable to be done. Like, this is something that happens in real life as well, like the debate over breastfeeding and should you do it in public, should you not. Honestly, I'm of the thought that if a baby needs feeding, it needs feeding. I'm not going to run off to a fucking toilet stall to feed my kid. I'm going to sit in a restaurant and do it. If I had a kid, which I won't, because ew.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
The restaurant, the kid, the toilet.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically babies need to eat. And so this sparked a huge debate on whether breastfeeding should be considered as sexual content. Some people said that she was trying to get around some rules about sexual content, because one of the big things on Twitch is that they don't allow streaming of sexual content. Otherwise, it'd be like Pornhub. And forget, the bosom area's primary function isn't a sexual one. It's I am feeding my child, these are my udders function.
How would you do that, though? Would you just be like, here's a fully fed baby, and you're like, oh, this baby still looks hungry, let me breastfeed it.
Oh, no, it needs feeding. Oh.
The baby's like, stop, I don't want to eat anymore. It's like, no.
Please. I've eaten too much, boop.
Or you could just have like a fake baby. It's like fucking digitally put in. It's
just like a really shit fake baby that is clearly one of those little dolls that are terrifying. Oh, could you imagine? What if it was one of those bloody don't get pregnant kids dolls? You know, one of the training dolls that they give people out in health class. Maybe it's one of those.
I mean, yeah, if it was something like that, I could see how it was basically like a sham, but I don't know how you like jump to that conclusion. Like, you know, she's doing it just to get around the
She just wants people to tune in so we can see your boobs.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could say if you were completely cynical and had, you know, put nefarious thoughts into her mind that she decided to do it on purpose. Like the next time the baby was hungry, oh, I'm gonna, you know, breastfeed just to stir controversy and get more
more views.
But, yeah, but you got to be really, really cynical to think that, because this is first of all, it's your child, right? It's your child. It's not you. It just seems more reasonable that the child gets hungry at random times and she decided to do it because feeding your hungry child is more important than the Twitch terms and conditions. Because in general, it's probably something you'd want to avoid if you could, just to protect the child from being in a video of that nature.
Well, hopefully when the child grows up, breastfeeding will be normalised. It'd just be like feeding your baby on stream from a little sippy cup thing.
Yeah. I mean, boobs don't perform any sexual function anyway. Like, I have boobs. I mean, they're different from woman boobs, but I can go out in public with my shirt off and, you know, dance around. Now, the problem is I also have my bottom off, so that's where I get arrested. But The top part is fine. I've only committed half a crime.
I know. It's just, whereas a girl, it's all of it.
Yes.
And it's very depressing.
Double public indecency.
Like, I don't want to double public indecency, honestly. I just want to go about my tits out.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, I can... There's, like, this whole primal reason as to why gentlemen see breasts as being a sexual function, because at the end of the day, it's if you've got bigger boobs and bigger hips, you're probably more fertile. You're probably going to raise some healthy fucking kids. That's the whole reason for him being... That's the main reason behind them being sexualized. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I look at a pair of tits and it's like, oh, alright. Although I am somebody who has lived with bosoms since the ripe old age of 12, so...
And in this instance, the act itself isn't a sexualized act. Like, there should be some distinction, in all seriousness, between things that are sexual and things that aren't. There needs to be more nuance in general, which is just a problem for YouTube stuff in general, or Twitch stuff in general, where they usually rely on algorithms or something that, you know, it's the robot that spots the nipple, you know? It's just... I bet they have that. I bet they have a specific robot that just scans millions and millions of videos.
And it seeks out female nipples, not male nipples, female nipples, because we all know that female nipples are really offensive.
That his job depends on that. If he accidentally nixes a male nipple, he's fired. He's actually completely insane now, this robot. He's gone off the rails from looking at so many goddamn nipples that it's just...
But there is a happy ending to this story, because after deleting the clips, the streamer, she appealed about it, and they actually ended up changing the rules, saying in an email, breastfeeding is not lewd.
Hooray, progress!
Hey! One more step towards no more sexualized bosom.
That is kind of the way everything works now, is that we rely on these imperfect algorithms. We rely on things, and then when they fuck up, then we fix it afterwards instead of being proactive. And to be fair, it is hard. There are a lot of videos, but at least like when they do fuck up, you can fix it quickly. Not the robot, though. Like, again, he's completely insane. He's probably killed a dozen toasters that he's hiding in his basement right now. But but the humans, we can change our policies and fix them.
Yeah.
That poor robot, he's been decommissioned.
There is one thing that this story reminds me of, and it's of one of my favourite noble women from history, Agnes Sorel. So, Agnes
Is
Sorel...
that who you were typing up just now?
Yes. Just so that I could find an article of it. So, basically, she was a 15th century mistress of the King of France, who was, I believe, Charles the 6th or 7th, something like that. And basically, she started off this whole fashion trend across the French courts. What do you think this fashion trend is?
I have no idea. Is it vault suits?
No, she started off a fashion trend of walking around with one tit out.
Oh.
And
yes, on topic.
Yeah, and loads and loads of because she was quite a high-ranking woman, because she was the king's mistress.
No.
Loads of people who wanted to be in favour at court started to, follow the trend.
I should start a similar trend of walking out with the cock out.
Yes.
Or not.
Or just one nut out. One nut.
One nut. That would be helpful. I know a woman who complained to me that she would just like to know in advance what she's working with before she approaches something. She hates the mystery. She was telling me that she hates the mystery of it. You know, she hates that she gets nervous before she sees one because there's all this build up to it. You know, and and then how we're so lucky as men because we know in advance. You know, there's no sort of dancing around that or whatever. You know, like if you have like small tits or huge tits or whatever tits, like if a guy is dating you, they already, you know, don't care or are fine with it. Yeah. There's no pressure or an anxiety around it. Yeah, exactly. But she was telling me, she was like, the unveiling portion of it is what like gives her anxiety because she doesn't know,
But even then, when
What's
it's being
there?
unveiled, it can be deceiving.
Yes, true.
Like, some people are growers, some people are showers. You don't know what it's going to be like when it's all
Exactly.
happy.
And some people are just bad at sex, even if they're
Yeah.
the right size or whatever. And some people are great at it, even if they're not the right size. So it's just
It's not size, it's how you use it.
But yeah, that was my story about the modder author who shall not be named, who's telling me about her anxiety with dicks.
Oh, goddamn. Oh, mate. No, I just think stuff like this is really fun, you know? Just, you don't think back to the 15th century and you don't think, you know what? I bet you there were women running around with their tits out. Just one tit, though. Singular tit, not tits. Tit. A single tata. Just running around with it out.
Yeah, it's just, it's the style at the time. It's like an onion on your belt. But yeah, that would be funny if this next 100 podcasts, we just made tit commentary instead of dick commentary.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, mate, is it? No.
We did just mention dicks. So
Yes.
it always swings back to dicks.
It always
so,
swings back and forth and back and forth. Really, helicopter. Boop, 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 boop.
But yes,
But yes.
interesting how styles change. Maybe because fashion is cyclical, we can bring back the open tit, the one tit.
I mean, they were meant to be doing it in Game of Thrones. Because of the Carthene style of dress. But you know what? I would feel uncomfortable because we wear bras for a reason.
Yeah,
Could you imagine just like a sling bra with one hanging out? In fact,
Yeah.
I could do that right now if I wanted to, and you would never know.
Yes.
I could just sling off one of my bra straps. Out we go. Nobody would know.
Well, now both our nipples are exposed because it is fucking hot
It's-
over here.
Aw, you recording topless?
Yes.
That's
But not in a
hot.
sexual way.
But not in a sexual way.
Yeah, I would not be banned from Twitch for my current state of attire, so it's all good. And now, neither will you, provided you have a fake baby somewhere. Like,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's my main story for the week.
so I played a bunch of Assassin's Creed. I haven't played in a while, but I had like 150 hours. and
Jesus Christ,
learned-
you work a full-time fucking job.
Yes. But I conveniently work at my desk, which also has all the games on it.
Yeah.
I work on my gaming computer. It just happens to also have all the games and all the access to various media that I can conveniently switch to. And so, yeah, I played a bunch of Assassin's Creed. I learned a bunch of Greek swear words like malaka. I think it basically means like fucker. But I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But they use it in context. It sounds like, fuckers. Like the dirty Malakas do this, or like Malaka as an expletive. So like fuck. So yeah, I learned the word Malaka. And Mystios. Mystios means mercenary. Anyways, so they came out with this story manager, which is a modding tool for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it's kind of bare bones. Like you could do basic fetch quests, escort quests,
Yeah.
kill quests. It does allow you to have dialogue, but the dialogue isn't voiced. You can make NPCs, but you have to use templates. Facial
Right.
templates from other NPCs.
Yeah.
So that kind of worried me for a second. I thought you could only use the in-game NPCs, but you can at least make new ones. You just have to pick a face from the crowd that nobody remembers, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't pick Socrates to be your face.
No.
Don't pick...
Unless you want to just write a load of jokes about, Socrates,
Yeah.
my brother.
Yeah, it would be
That was
in-game.
that wasn't even a joke.
Yeah. Well, you could name him Cockatrice.
Cockatoos.
And the funny thing is, it would be lore friendly because there is already a Testicles in the game.
Oh my god, yes. What a family.
So you can make Cockatrice the father, the brother of Testicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a quest. Somebody make that quest. Cockatrice, brother of Testicles. Put him in the game. But yeah, so you can add dialogue, you can make quests, and you can add conditions. So I was able to make this quest with all this branching dialogue where you would God, I can't even remember my own quest. What was it? Let me think. Well, forget the actual quest. It basically had choices and branches, and there was some issues that I had. Like you couldn't pick up an item and make the quest proceed. You could only do proceed quests through killing, dialogue, certain things. But I was able to make it. I was happy. You had 3 different endings and 7 or 8 different ways to get to the ending, and had a bunch of dialogue options. Assassin's Creed has pretty binary options. It's either like really good or really evil, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave it more nuanced dialogue options. So I stuck to like 4 or 5 per line, just like. So I spent like a couple days on this. Like this was like a really like I thought a decent quest, right?
Yeah.
Then the story manager says you have no bugs, it should work. I loaded up Assassin's Creed and it says we apologize, our story manager still kind of sucks and
Oh.
we can't load your quest into the game. Saws bye, and that's it.
Oh. So they didn't even attempt to get it all in, or what?
The system tried to, but it failed more or less. It was either something wrong with the programming part or the system itself just didn't know what to do with my 100 choices and shit that I put in the quest, and it just blew its mind and broke.
Just like, oh no, you're trying to do too much with our really crap engine.
Well, I don't know if the engine itself is a problem, but I think the tool, the modding kit, because we don't get to use the engine itself. We use this kind of web browser modding kit. It's literally on a web browser. And it's trying to feed the engine the instructions based on the software, the web browser tool. So either that or I didn't add enough nipples for it to identify, but who knows? It's probably my fault. Unfortunately, you can't actually test the game with the bugs, so you can isolate exactly what's going wrong. It just says fails to load, and that's it.
Yeah, that seems like a pain to deal with.
So yeah, that was an odyssey in and of itself. Boom!
Boom! Title drop.
Transition.
Mic down.
But I did like the game. You should play it. It's pretty
I
fun.
need something to play it on.
A computer or
Yes.
one of those like fucking Stadia, I think it's called, one of those Google things where you
Yeah.
play online. And
Oh
they
yeah,
have
the
fucking
streaming
computer on it.
device thing.
Streaming, that's the word. Streaming. Thank you.
No, I don't know. I've been trying
You're just gonna not play it.
Yeah, I've been trying to save up for a computer, but you know when life just keeps on throwing stuff at you.
No, yeah.
It's doing that at the moment.
Life. Especially when it starts throwing alcoholic beverages at you. You got no choice, but you got to pay for them.
Yeah,
so
you got. It's just like, God damn it! I can't afford to pay for them. Why would you do this to me?
Yeah, you only got 2 hands and maybe toes.
A mouth.
Yes. Oh, catch one in your mouth.
Yeah.
But then you would really help if you were able to expose one breast. Maybe catch one between.
Catch one in the underboob. Boom, boom.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that could work, but.
It'd be a little bit cold. It might slip and.
But if it's on a warm day like it is in California right now,
Yes.
could work out. Could work out.
It very well could. I would suggest that you move out here, but you would probably only have enough for like half a beer.
I would probably melt before I
yes.
even get to a pub.
Then also the prices here are insane. Although they're insane in certain places in the UK as well. I think the cost of living is not cheap. Yeah, in your neck of the woods.
See, where I live is alright, but yeah, Brighton's pretty bad. London's pretty bad. Any big metropolitan city's pretty bad. Nottingham city centre's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, woes of real life, that's what it is.
Yeah, the prices might not really give you culture shock compared to some of the other things we got here.
I don't understand American architecture.
What do you not understand about it?
I'm very big on like Victorian buildings, things like that.
Ah, yeah.
And so the outside of the building looks confusing to me.
Oh, the outside is always going to be crap. But I mean, America's a relatively new country, so I don't think we have any like classic buildings or that are done in the maybe if you like found a building that was like really really old or something, but
isn't really old for you guys, like 60 years. I can remember reading Haunting of Hill House, and it was set in I think it was set in like the 1940s. It was set in the 1960s, and the house was 60 years old.
Oh no.
Ooh, how scary.
It's ancient. You might as well just like tear it down at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have some distinctive like architecture and design, but it's distinct to the 1900s or 1800s period.
Yeah.
Like it's like colonial is the word, I think. Whereas you guys have like so many centuries of history that you can have like different layers upon layers of what era something was built in. Victorian is like what is that, like 1600s? I don't know.
I beg your pardon. I need to school you, boy. Did you just say Victorian was 1600s?
I have no idea. This isn't my area of expertise.
Victorian was 19th century.
Ah.
So 1800s through to 1901. Or 1900. 1901. 1901. Then you have Edwardian, which is just a 10-year period that then kind of crosses over into the First World War, sorry. Prior to Victorian, you have the Regency era, then the Georgian era. Then prior to the Georgian era, you have the Stuart era. And if you want to get particular in the Stuart era, you can also, at the very start, have the Jacobean era. And you can have also the Restoration era in that. And then prior to that, you've got the Elizabethan era, and then the General Tudor period, and then prior to that, you've got a fuck shit bollocks with the War of the Roses.
The really old stuff, I guess that's more like 1600s is more like castles and cottages then.
Yeah, so there's a load of houses in Whitby that are from the 1600s. If the grand abbeys and stuff that you'll find in the Gothic style, they're generally around 13th century. Some of our prison, where I work, is 14th, 15th century, whereas the building on top is 18th century. And yeah, we've got a big old mishmash of building styles.
Yeah, which gives it more character, I think.
Yeah.
But also could include lots of shoddy craftsmanship. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
they've survived for a long time, Chris. Do not criticize the workmanship of the Georgian and Victorian era is good. You know what's rough? The affordable housing that they built after the Second World War. That's shit.
Yes. And just because something's new doesn't necessarily mean it is
Good.
built well. I mean, asbestos was the new great thing in the 1900s.
I've been including that on my cave tours now. Because we have an asbestos gas mask.
Nice.
And how we do it is we play it as a 1940s air raid warden. And so you don't technically know that asbestos is bad. So it's like, yes, we've got asbestos in here. We use asbestos in absolutely everything. So
it's a wonderful material.
Centers, schools, you'll find it in primary schools a lot. Cigarette filters and Marvel. Have you all heard of Marvel Comics? Yes. Well, in 1941, they loved asbestos so much that they turned it into a supervillain. Can you imagine? It's wonderful, isn't it? Absolutely fabulous stuff.
That is amazing. Yes, asbestos, the wonder material, the miracle mineral. What could go wrong?
Best thing in the world.
It has best right in the name.
I know. Asbestos.
Can't spell asbestos without best.
Exactly. Best at killing you due to cancer. Wait.
So on that note, I think that does it for this episode.
Yeah.
We managed to sneak in references to both our past love of genitalia as well as asbestos.
And present. Oh,
history.
Before we round up, so I think I mentioned on the podcast, and I know that I've mentioned it to you, that I was looking for help with doing an Irish accent for one of the new characters that we've got at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't end up seeking out help. I decided
you just winged it.
Yes, I've decided that I'm going to run with it. Because this is the story of a woman called Joanna Ledwich. And so she was originally from Ireland. and she ended up getting arrested in our prison, and she was sentenced to transportation, but then she escaped from our prison. And so, to distinguish her from some of the other characters that we've got in the museum, we like to perform with an Irish accent. But the thing is, and this is in her backstory as well, she only came over to England when she was 3. Which means that, technically speaking, she wouldn't have an Irish accent, which means that if we play her with an Irish accent, it's got to be a really bad Irish accent, because the only Irish accent that she will have heard in her entire life is probably some drunken Englishman's impersonation of an Irish accent. So, that means that I've got the perfect backstory for my really, really crap Irish accent. So, if anybody wants a character voicing which has a purposefully bad accent for Irish, give us a shout.
You know where to reach Alice.
On the Discord.
On the Discord, on Twitter.
On YouTube.
On the Twitch with a boob hanging out.
Yep. With a
and
baby.
A fake baby.
Exactly.
On her desk. You just breastfeed it, toss it over your shoulder. Boom. You're a meme. And a successful Twitch channel.
With a really bad Irish accent.
Yes. What more could you have ever asked for? All right, that is it for episode 101 of Lore Friendly.
Hey, let's hope that some news comes out next week.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, we don't need news. We did just fine this week.
We always do. We flounder around. We're like little fish out of water, aren't we?
Well, it'd be helpful if you had a computer that could run some of these new games coming out.
Yeah. Well, first I've got to move. So... because I got surprised by being handed my notice, so that's fun.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, never mind on that computer thing then.
just give me a bit of time to move out first.
We can review indie games or something.
Yeah, I can play indie games. Yeah, let's find some good indie games. Leave us some suggestions for indie games in the comments down below.
Is that Stadia thing out yet? I could get you a subscription.
I don't think it is yet, no.
Because I want to play... The reason I mention all this, I have a point, is I want to play Outer Worlds, and I want you to play as well, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But...
Isn't Outer Worlds not out yet?
It is not out. It is not yet Outer Worlds.
It is not Outer Worlds yet.
Not Outer yet Worlds.
Yeah, I don't...
Not yet Outer Worlds.
It's
not out, is the point.
Yeah, it's not out. So, and I don't think the Stadia thing's out either. So
when is Outer Worlds coming out? October 25th. Oh, that's a ways.
Yeah, that's miles
Never
away.
mind.
Ooh.
You'll have 10 computers by then.
Here's an idea for what we can review. Not Netflix. Amazon has bought out a new series called The Boys. And it is really well reviewed. It's basically a parody of the superhero genre, and I reckon that's up our alley. So we can watch a couple of episodes of The Boys for next week.
Yeah,
and
we could do that.
Give our thoughts on it. See if it deserves being the most viewed Amazon show above Good Omens. The only other Amazon show that I have experience of.
Yeah, and any other gaming news that we can come up with.
Rustle up.
All right. I will talk to you next week then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.